45-0, 38 knockouts. And still, and still, and still, pound for pound number one, Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez. That's just what it is, man. Gonzalez went in there versus a game opponent, McWilliams Arroyo. People decided to try to overlook McWilliams Arroyo. A lot of people were talking down about him. But this is a guy who got robbed against the IBF flyweight champion, I'm not wrong. A guy that came in there looking to take Gonzalez's head off. And a guy that put up damn good resistance. Gonzalez won by scores of 120 to 108, 119 to 109, and 119 to 109. Personally, I wound up having it 117 to 111. I thought Arroyo put up probably the best fight of any opponent that's fought Gonzalez since Juan Francisco Estrada. And that's in spite of the fact that his fucking shoe came apart, man. What was that? I think it was his right shoe that the damn sole went missing after, what was that, about the fourth round. Gonzalez was pretty much already in control of the fight by that point, already in traction to pretty much it looked like at first he was gonna start steamrolling Arroyo in the mid rounds, but Arroyo showed a hell of a chin, good boxing skills, good movement, and was able to pretty much survive. And he attempted a lot of times to set up his own power shots, especially that left hook, the big left hook. But ultimately, it just wasn't enough. He wasn't able to land it cleanly enough or consistently enough in order to really break down or wear down Chocolatito Gonzalez. He did seem to get Gonzalez kind of tired around the 7th to 8th round, but Gonzalez pretty much put it into second gear and just kept on working him over. Arroyo looked like he was about to be stopped about 3 or 4 different times in this fight, but he showed a lot of heart. He showed a good chin. He showed good pressure and good perseverance under fire in order to make the most of the opportunities that he had when he had an open target in front of him, when Gonzalez was trying to finish him off, and he was trying to get himself a Hail Mary knockout, get himself something to turn the tide of the fight around, and it just didn't work out for him. Arroyo, I think, is probably going to go on to do some pretty damn good things himself. But as for Gonzalez, they interviewed him after the fight. He said that he was probably going to have one more fight at 112 before he decides to move up to 115. And I think pretty much everybody knows what the fight that everybody wants to see at 112 is. The 3-way unification between himself and Juan Francisco Estrada for 3 of the 4 ABC belts, as well as the Ring Magazine and Lineal belts at flyweight. This is history making shit if they're able to pull this one off. I'm not sure if they'll do it immediately, because unfortunately Estrada hasn't had the same amount of publicity in the United States that Gonzalez has, in spite of the fact that Estrada's got the gigantic, Mexican and Mexican American and Southwest, and just the general, even just the boxing fan base. People know Estrada because they know that he's the one that's Gonzalez's rival. People that know boxing know that Estrada is his chief rival at the current moment. Of course, Naoya Inoue is always out there too at 115, but considering the fact that Gonzalez is going to have one more fight at 112, it looks like Estrada's who he's going to be aiming for, probably who HBO is going to be aiming for to get him against. And let's see if they pay up for that fight the way that they're supposed to, the way that both Gonzalez and Estrada are demanding. Neither of them are being divas necessarily about the purse for that fight. They're both trying to get truly what they're worth, because that fight, they could fight plenty of other fighters, dominate them easy, because these are 2 pound-for-pound level fighters. Estrada's ranked number 9 for those of you that didn't know on the ESPN rankings. So these are 2 guys that could pretty much handle the business against anybody and everybody else if they wanted to, but they want to fight each other. Estrada's been calling Gonzalez out for a couple years now. HBO needs to put up the money for that fight. And if that fight doesn't happen, there's always the number 1 contender for Roman Gonzalez, undefeated, 33-0, Nawapan Chokchai. Nawapan Chokchai, some of you may know that me, EJ Boxing, and Ben Umar did a commentary on one of his fights. One of his recent fights against Herial Mol. Chokchai is a bad man. A tall, strong, lanky, powerful boxer-puncher at flyweight. 5'6". He's one of the few guys that at flyweight that, in theory, you may think may be able to out-physique, out-physical, out-man, out-strength somebody like Gonzalez. And for Gonzalez to prevail in that fight, just like he did with Arroyo, he'll have to use his skills, his superior skills and technique and abilities, as opposed to just brute force. That's pretty much the way he did it tonight against Arroyo. If he would have just stood in there toe-to-toe with Arroyo, just winging off hooks, that would have been way more troublesome for him than the way he broke Arroyo down with good side-to-side, inside movement, tracking him down, pushing him back, not allowing Arroyo to get leverage, rolling under Arroyo shots, and then countering over him, and the whole nine. Of course, also out there is I'm Not Run Wrong. Supposedly, Zhou Shiming is supposed to make his U.S. debut on the undercard of Lomachenko versus Martinez. So he may be out there. Who knows, Arrow might be willing to cash out on him. Maybe he'll get a piece of Gonzalez. Hope not, but you never know. And then, of course, Kazuto Ioka from Japan. Although that fight probably makes more sense in Japan, and Kazuto Ioka's the big draw in Japan. So I doubt that he and his people decided to come over to the U.S. for a fight with Gonzalez. If anything, I'd say Estrada, Run Wrong, and Porchokchai are going to be the three main guys that are going to be targeted for Gonzalez's last fight at 112. And then on to greener pastures at 115, bigger purses, more fame, more publicity, a fourth world title in a fourth weight class. And, he could pretty much pick and choose. You got Carlos Cuadras fighting tonight. His fight hasn't concluded yet. He's the WBC champ. You got Kohei Kono, who's the WBA champ. He's a possibility. Luis Concepcion is the interim WBA champ. He's a possibility, although Estrada has said that he's probably going to be fighting him next. He's got McWilliams Arroyo's brother, McJoe, for the IBF, although he has a little bit of a situation to work out with the IBF because he was supposed to defend against Jordan Nakajas last week, but he wound up pulling out with a hand injury. And then, of course, you got Naoya Inoue, the WBO. Although Inoue is, it looks like, from the rumors of things, Inoue may be coming to the U.S. soon, so I'd be willing to bet they probably build Inoue for one or two fights before they decide to toss him in there against the likes of an Estrada or Gonzalez. I would love to see Naoya Inoue versus McWilliams Arroyo. I think that's an excellent fight. Arroyo can move up and weight just fine. He's a fucking shredded guy for flyweight. He's probably one of the most shredded, muscularly dense guys that you could probably see at the weight class. So I think 115 would be no problem for him. Now, of course, big puncher. Arroyo's a big puncher. Two big punchers going at it. And then, if he wants to try and show and prove that he's truly the best at around this weight class, these weight divisions, then he can go in there. And if he does the damage to Arroyo better than Gonzalez did it, then hey, then we really got something there. And Inoue is definitely another top pound for pound level talent, very easily. He's only 8 fights in and already a two-weight world champion across 3 weight classes, and he's destroying guys at super flyweight as though he didn't even move up 2 weight classes. Train wrecking them, man. It's ugly. So Roma Chocolatito Gonzalez, so far no blueprint. 45-0, and that's just what it is, man. Who's gonna stop him? I'd be willing to give Estrada a chance. I'd be willing to give Inoue a chance, but in the grand scheme of things, considering that Arroyo, how highly I think of Arroyo and how good I know Arroyo is, considering the fact that Gonzalez still put on a clear-cut boxing display of excellence against Arroyo, it's really tough for me to outright favor somebody over him. I'd give him a good shot, but I can't necessarily favor them over somebody like Gonzalez. But we'll see how they both progress. Estrada certainly got better since their first fight, and Inoue is a young guy who's improving with every fight. He's looking scary good. So when it finally comes down to it, we'll see where they're at, where all 3 of these guys are at in their careers and in their physical shapes, and we'll see how it goes. So Roman Gonzalez, many props to him for another good accomplishment. A lot of respect due to McWilliams Arroyo. Hopefully, Arroyo gets a rematch with I'm Not Run Wrong, which he really deserves, because he frankly won that first fight and he just didn't get the decision. But so goes it sometimes in boxing. Let's see how it goes, and on to the next.